everyone. Welcome back to my channel, and it is me, Mercedes T, with Unrelenting Pursuit, where I am creating a community of like-minded individuals that are trying to create the life they love. And in today's video, we're going to talk about a few podcasts. And I know there are so many different podcasts out here in the world, and so many people trying to drop a podcast, but these are the podcasts that I personally listen to that have been helping me along my journey. And a lot of these podcasts can be ranging from spirituality, personal development, relationship goals. So it's a lot of different things. And of course, I'm not going to say them in any particular order. So just follow along with me to see my podcast. So podcast number 1 that I personally listen to is called Redefining Wealth with Patrice Washington. So I'm going to just tell you what I really like about her podcast. So pretty much she talks a lot about walking in your purpose, but she puts it in reference to financials. So, and what she says is that, your wealth will find you when you're walking in your purpose. And that is what I love, because that ties in a lot to what Unrelenting Pursuit does. Unrelenting Pursuit, we're here to help people walk into their purpose and do what they want to do. And I just love how her podcast kind of ties into what I am doing as well. It's just the way she lays it out is so beautiful. And she relates it to like spirituality, if you are into those kind of things. But definitely the way that she puts your purpose and your finances together, perfect. How you do it? Perfect. So podcast number 2 that I listen to is Millionaire Mindsets with Deanna and Xavier. And the two of them together, let me tell you something, magic, okay? So a lot of the things that they're talking about is really, really relatable to today. And they have so many guests on there, and a lot of their guests are so, how can I explain? It's like they really hit on real life topics. And for one, let's go back. Their intro, let me tell you, they got gems in the intro. So whomever made their intro, they did that, period. But nevertheless, with their podcast, they have a lot of different guests on there. And a lot of their guests, for example, they had someone that did kind of go to prison. They had a lot of different setbacks in their life, and they just talk about how they were able to make millions from where they came from. So a lot of their podcast talks about that, with that millionaire mindset, talking about where you can go from where you are to be making billions of dollars. Perfect content. My next podcast number 3, and like I said, they're in no particular order, but the Courtney Sanders Show. So I actually stumbled upon her from a YouTuber that I follow that I absolutely love. She actually listens to the Courtney Sanders Show. And so with that, when I found her, I realized that she was from Detroit. And for a small stint, I lived in Detroit. So I was like, wow, this girl is very relatable. It felt like I was here. Me and her were here, okay? But she talks about a lot of different women empowerment topics. She talks about building your business. And actually, she runs a business that goes on the lines of women empowerment. Like, she good. She is really, really good. And if you start her podcast from the beginning, she talks about where she started from to building her business to where it is now. Perfect. I love the Courtney Sanders Show. Like, she needs a show in real life, literally. Think about that, Courtney. Okay, and podcast number 4, Beyond the Business Suit. So this particular podcast, I love it solely because she is a business-minded individual, but yet she relates it to the topics that are going on today. And she hits on topics that are very touchy. Very, very touchy, if you know what I mean. So I love her podcast. And she's one of the ones that I don't necessarily listen to as much as I listen to the other ones, but she definitely throws out keys as well. She's giving out all the keys to the streets out here. So definitely listen to hers as well. Podcast number 5, Kev on Stage and his wife, Mrs. Kev on Stage. Okay, and I'm sure everybody knows them. I'm sure people follow him on Instagram. We know his little videos where he doing reviews, got him and people side by side. I'm sure you've seen him on Instagram. But him and his wife, actually, they have their own podcast. So with their podcast, most of the time they're talking about relationship goals, what they've done in their relationship. They have guests on, and sometimes they talk about little subjects, little stuff about relationships that I'm not going to get into, but it's very deep. They hitting on points in relationships that you may need to listen to, okay? So if you are in a relationship, if you're not, if you're trying to build one, they are the ones that you need to listen to. And plus, they funny. We know who they are. So literally, go listen to their podcast. Amazing. So speaking on relationships, the next one I'm going to get on is Transformation Church by Michael Todd. And Michael Todd, I'm sure everybody knows who he is by now. He runs this book, okay, Relationship Goals. He put out this book, and he also runs Transformation Church. And I'm sure everybody knew when he put this big mega church out, but it is so relatable to us as young people. And I know I first started hearing about Michael Todd through my best friend, Erica. She was telling me about the series that he had. And actually, his series are on YouTube, but the way that he puts his podcast out, they're pretty much a replica of what he puts on YouTube, but it's easier for you to listen to it if you're in the car. So you won't have to literally visibly watch what he's putting out, but they're perfect. They're super relatable for what us young people may be going on with today. Perfect podcast. I definitely suggest it. And if you can't even listen to the podcast and you want to actually physically look at him, look at his YouTube channel because it's almost like a replica, like I said. But Michael Todd, he's amazing. The book is amazing. Check him out. So podcast number 7. This is actually someone that I know personally. Her name is Ina Esco. She runs a podcast called Verbally Effective. And let me tell you about her Verbally Effective podcast. Literally, she puts so much good Memphis content on her podcast. So she has people that are doing great things in the city. And even some of the topics that they talk about are very relative to what's going on in today. Perfect podcast. Ina is absolutely amazing. I'm sure that you've actually heard her on V101 because she's on the radio station as well. But check out Ina. Check out her podcast. It is called Verbally Effective. Absolutely amazing. And she's an amazing person at that. So it's no reason why you shouldn't check out her podcast. So podcast number 8, and my very last podcast on the list, is from an old friend named Jamesia Terry. Her and her boyfriend have put together a podcast, and their podcast is called Love Is. It is so cute. It is like almost like I can feel them talking, like almost like I feel like I am sitting in the room with them while they are doing their podcast. It is so nice, so cute, and it's also comical. So you should definitely check out her podcast. Though the last 2 for sure, because they're very local, they're good to me, very good people, and you should definitely check out their podcast because they are growing and developing in this world. Check them out for sure. All right, now to wrap it up, like I said, these are the 8 podcasts that I really be listening to. And like I said, they're in no particular order, so don't think that I'm ranking them from the highest to the lowest. No, they're in no particular order. These are just the ones that I personally listen to. And if you have a podcast and it's something that you are trying to get out to our community, drop it below. Put it in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You know, we have videos out every single Wednesday, so you never know what to expect next week. So, love you guys. Subscribe to my channel. Bye.